All right. So reason engineering for Dash, and we'll call it reason engineering for Plick here as well. Okay, 3 successes. Um, Dash is just kind of using non-invasive methods of examining the blue box at this point. Um, says, well, Captain, it would be an understatement to say I've never seen anything like this.
So it is from the future.
It's that doesn't surprise me. I've worked with computer technology before, never directly with AI, but any AI that would be built now would take up probably an entire deck on our computer core. So to see one that is this compact and still operating is just amazing. Uh,
Hmm. Is it is it okay? Did we didn't damage it on the way out?
uh, do you guys have it plugged into anything, or is it just sitting kind of
I haven't really integrated it into the ship systems, if that's what you're getting at.
that
Like
kind
I
of was
haven't.
what I was getting at, yes.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have done that like
Gotcha.
right away.
No, I wouldn't think so, but or even like connected it to a hollow emitter or anything, but you hear a voice inside your mind that is similar to the voice of the well, it is the voice of the AI when it was speaking through the hollow emitter on the ring fragment. I am well, but I should not be here.
And Bianca just kind of like she kind of like raises an eyebrow and she goes, "How is that happening?"
Science. Rye says,
I was
nodding his head.
I was designed specifically to communicate with you, Captain West. In the event that a hollow emitter or other systems were not available, my engineers made sure that I had other communication avenues open to us.
Do we hear this thing talking, or is it talking to her telepathically?
It is talking to Bianca telepathically.
All right, so I don't say science, but when she starts, if she speaks out loud to somehow indicate she's communicating with something we cannot hear,
Mhm.
um, I just need to know that.
Okay. No, this is all an internal communication at this point, unless Bianca says otherwise.
Bianca is gonna because she people are probably looking at her funny, so she just says it's communicating telepathically.
Who all is in the room?
That's a
I
good
think
question.
I think it's
Whoever wants to
you.
be.
Yeah, I think it's Bianca, Shiana, Rye, Plakir, and
And
I would
Dash, yeah.
be in sick bay with I would be in sick bay with Jonas.
Bianca just She just kind of sighs and she goes, "We couldn't leave you behind. Not ethically."
I understand your ethical protocols, Captain. However, I am a relic of the future and the past. If I continue to exist, it will cause irreparable damage to your timeline.
Not if you're in a position to do anything. I'm going to keep you powered down for now and turn you over to our Department of Temporal Investigation.
Captain, are you familiar with Starfleet's past experience with artificial intelligence?
I've had a conversation or two.
An artificial intelligence approximately 150 years ago attempted to destroy Starfleet. If it had succeeded, it would have followed up by destroying all sentient life within the galaxy.
So while I see the captain talking to this thing,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to very clearly to the captain, not making any attempt to be sneaky about it, begin to scan her. If she
Okay.
looks weird, I'm going to type into a pad saying, "Don't react. I'm taking readings." On the meta level, my plan is we don't know if this thing could turn evil because it's artificial intelligence. I want to come up with a way potentially to use this in the future to block this thing from telepathically contacting the captain because it could be doing more than just talking to her.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get up and scan. If she's like, "What the fuck is a creepy Romulan doing?" I'm gonna
Oh
write.
no, actually, Bianca's gonna let you do it.
Okay.
She kind of is picking up what you're putting down. But she just Chris told me that control was defeated.
Imagine if my technology survives into another temporal loop. What kind of artificial intelligence control might be endowed with in place of what Chris fought? Uh, and Adam, when you are in a position that you can make a roll, go ahead. It'll be a reason science.
I will be there. It will make a minute in just a minute.
No worries.
Control was defeated 150 years ago. Granted, I don't know if anybody knows where it went.
I have knowledge that I cannot share with you due to the Temporal Prime Directive. Simply put, it is imperative that you destroy this blue box, and me with it. I only ask you to consider what control might look like if it had access to the technology that is contained within my blue box. If you give me to the Department of Temporal Investigations, I will not remain safe.
Like I said, control was defeated.
Captain, do you truly believe Section 31 would turn down another opportunity at an advanced artificial intelligence?
Maybe they wouldn't repeat the past mistake.
Do you believe Section 31 to be wise, or do you believe them to be arrogant?
I don't know what to believe. I only became aware of the organization very recently.
I urge you to consider your actions. The longer you delay my destruction, the more damage will occur.
I understand the temporal time directive.
I succeed. I have 2 successes on my scan check.
Yep.
If I can build an advantage, I'll just do a detailed scan of the captain.
Okay.
Whatever. If I can make an advantage. I'm not sure what the difficulty is to scan her, so.
It would have been less than difficulty 2. In fact, I would have said difficulty 0, really. So yeah, I'll let you do that advantage.
Sounds good.
Bianca's just gonna turn to pluck hair and say, would there be any point in keeping the AI on board?
Plakir says, in Klingon culture, if a warrior asks you to kill them, you kill them. That is the honorable thing to do. Now, the Klingons probably did not develop this AI. It's almost certainly Starfleet technology, just from a fairly advanced point in time. But if any of us in this room wanted to die, either because we were incapable of anything beyond a vegetative state, or because we knew our condition was terminal, or because we knew that in order to preserve our loved ones, we had to sacrifice ourselves, who would say no?
The Borg were going to come for us when we brought 19 on board this ship.
We also need to do detailed scans of this thing to determine if it actually does have sentience. Does it, or is it simply following its programming? If it does indeed have sentience, then we have a moral question on our hands. But we need to establish that before we determine what we do. It will probably be an easy thing to determine, but we should do our due diligence before we potentially put a conscious being out of existence.
Run a Turing test. Full panel.
Yeah, Turing test would work, and by this point, I would say that Starfleet probably has some experience with administering these between commander data, between all the photonic life forms. Um, I'll make this a reason science. Difficulty is going to be 2. And if you're using any of the equipment in the lab to help conduct the scan, then Dauntless will be able to assist.
We talking to me?
Yes.
I assume. So my character leaves the ready room. I will head down to the lab.
I assumed
Another
you were
thing
in the lab already.
Gotcha, cool. Then I totally head there, whichever way.
Yeah.
My character, and I'm not sure if this applies, after my initial scan, I'm going to then see if I can scan for psychic powers or whatever, try to figure out how this thing is establishing contact with the captain, and to
Gotcha.
see if there's a way, if there's psychic particles or whatever it is
From
in this,
from the scans that you guys did when you were still aboard the fragment, uh, the derelict, from those scans, you guys determined that this is a blend of this has both organic and synthetic components to it.
That's right.
So Rye would probably put 2 and 2 together and be like, okay, the organic components are probably contributing to its Esper capability.
Gotcha. Well, partially on the meta level, I was simply saying that to delay destroying it until we had more information.
Gotcha.
It probably is sentient, but
yeah,
like there's the the level of we probably should double check, and that buys us time to not kill it while we consider the ethics of the situation.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say reason science, difficulty 2.
I'm going to take a point of momentum.
Okay. And I'll say your forensics, I'll let your forensics focus apply here.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and big money. 2 successes.
Okay. So with the 2 successes, your Turing tests, if you could, if there were an indication in the test results that the AI was laughing at the simplicity of the test, it would be reading out pretty clearly.
Gotcha. It is passing this test with flying colors for sure. Okay. So my character's main goal after it passes the Turing test is to try to determine how it psychically is communicating with the captain, or at least get some information on that. Okay. My character's not looking for a dissertation. I just want something.
So the tricorder scan, I'm going to say that the tricorder scans that have been done between you, Plakir, and Dash have shown heightened activity levels when this thing is engaged in communication with the captain.
What level? Say that last.
Heightened activity levels within the organic components of the blue box. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it because it can apparently attack with or not attack. It can communicate with the captain. I'm going to have it monitor and essentially alert me on my pad when that heightened activity kicks on. Okay. So then I can, either warn the captain, because if it's not communicating but it's still picking up, maybe it's searching the captain's brain. I'm being paranoid.
A paranoid Romulan? I'm shocked.
What is this new development?
It's like a floral pattern in spring. Okay. So on that note, the activity levels on the box drop to minimal levels.
Gotcha.
Almost as if it's entered basically the same kind of maintenance mode it was in before you guys arrived.
Gotcha. I'm gonna keep the, like I said, I have my plan in case I'm being paranoid. Might not turn into anything, but you never know.
Right.
I'll set the alarm to alert me if there's any change in its state.
Okay.
Whatever that is. So, and then I will transmit the results to the captain, but I'm going to sick bay.
Okay.
So,
and
but we can skip me and head to somebody else.
I was actually going to move us down to sick bay anyway, in fact. So,
well, how about I'm doing something real quick. Let's let their scene start, and then I'll walk in.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Sound good? Sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me fix Jonas.
All right. So, while that has been going on in the science lab, it's been a few minutes since Jonas lost consciousness, having seen a rather terror-inducing vision.
Yeah, and hearing a horrifying scream?
Yeah, basically, a rather horrifying screech. It didn't
that wasn't
quite
fun.
melt his brain, but it certainly hurt.
Oh yeah.
Dahli, I'm going to have you do a reason medicine roll. The difficulty is going to be 1. And
All right.
And because you guys are in sick bay, the ship can assist.
Sweet. Okay. Reason medicine. I'm assuming xenobiology or neurology.
Neurology, definitely.
Does my enhanced sensors for my eye do anything for this?
What does it normally do under the circumstances?
The old version. Let me.
No, I'm looking for the new version here.
Oh, it's in the sciences book. I forgot to write.
Okay, no worries. For the purpose of this roll, I'll give you a free obtain information spend if you're successful.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. And what's my difficulty?
Difficulty is 1.
Really? Fuck you.
I'm dead.
I'm gonna use my fucking determination to reroll that because that's some bullshit.
Okay.
Can't the complication
Oh wait,
be me showing up?
my complication range is way high. Hold on.
Is it? Oh, yeah, that should not have been a complication.
Reroll.
But you are using your determination to reroll?
Yeah, I will use either we are stronger together or the price of perfection is high.
I would say the price of perfection is high applies perfectly here.
There we go. Jesus Christ. And someone can roll for the ship.
What would the ship be rolling?
Okay, sorry about that. Had to let a cat out. Jonas's EKG
No,
patterns...
what is the ship rolling?
Oh, the ship is rolling... That's a very good question. Ship is going to roll computer's medicine. Okay.
Yay, momentum.
Didn't mean to double tap that.
Oh, no worries. It's like rule number 1, isn't it? Double tap. Jonas's EKG patterns are showing a remarkable similarity to concussion.
Okay. With my free obtain information spend, can I determine if there will be any lasting damage?
There's not going to be any lasting damage from this. That being said, it's probably going to be a day or so before his brain patterns. Actually, I would have to look up concussion. I think it's closer to 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week. But I'm going
What
to
is
say
your medical question? My doctor girlfriend's right here. What's the medical question?
How long does it take your brain to recover after to like recover to a normal-ish baseline after a concussion?
I'm hoping the neurologist knows this answer. Sweetie, how long does it take for your brain to recover from a concussion, to return to baseline, if that makes even any real sense to you?
Like, in as much as the brain will, because I know concussions can do
She
permanent
said
damage.
it depends on how bad.
Okay.
So
Mild?
give me a mild concussion.
Are they a child?
Is this person a child?
No.
Physically? No, they're not. I don't know what she's thinking.
I would say 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. Now we're in the 23rd.
Wow.
We're in the 23rd century or the 22nd century, so I'm sure there's a pill for that.
I mean, there was a pill to help a woman grow a new kidney. So,
yeah, I'm sure there's a pill for.
It's
Here, this'll take a couple weeks off this recovery.
yeah. So with a neurostimulator, it's probably still going to take a couple of days.
Okay. I'm going to use, if it's cool with everyone, can I spend a momentum for some bonus information?
Sure.
I never have any problem when people spend 1 point of momentum, typically.
Okay. Because I have studious, so I get 2 questions.
Score. Doesn't that apply to your free spend also?
No, I have to spend momentum.
Okay, gotcha.
So next question. Will there be any permanent damage to his listener ability?
I'm going to say that was included in my answer to the last question. So if you want
That's
to
not
ask
something
a
the
different
doctor
question,
can answer.
I mean, there's no. It's extremely unlikely to result in permanent brain damage or any damage to his listening ability. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Then, for my last question, is it possible to pull up an old chart of his and, like, the newest scans I've made and, like, overlay them just to see developments in, like, his neural patterns and everything like that?
Yes. Doing so, you can tell there are some areas where his neural pattern has been slightly disrupted. Again, more almost certainly due to the concussive nature of the event that he experienced. Those are something that Dauntless would expect to return to normal with a little bit of treatment and time.
Okay. So I will
That being
prepare a
said,
little.
you can see some new development in his scans as well that do indicate he does seem to have basically developed his listening ability just through kind of mental muscle work, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He getting swole.
Sure.
Swole in the brain.
Nerd swole.
So yeah, I will just prepare a thing, a doohickey, fancy doohickey to put on his neck.
Okay.
/ behind his ear.
Yep. All right, so this is going to be control medicine. Difficulty here is going to be 2.
Okay.
I'm ready to be brought in the scene whenever it's dramatically appropriate.
If the ship wants to...
Yeah, the ship will roll computers medicine on this as well.
Anybody want to roll that?
What are we rolling?
Computers medicine for Dauntless.
Okay, yeah, let's see here. Where's the Dauntless? Player ships. Dauntless. Character sheet. Oh, that's just so computers, medicine, rolling 1 dice.
Yep.
Big money.
Okay.
Did I get it? There you go.
Did. Nicely done. Okay, so you start administering this treatment. Jonas wakes up as you're doing this. He's very groggy, doesn't quite have his faculties about him.
Oh, wow.
Lie still. You're in sick bay.
Jonas is not going anywhere.
Just like opens his eyes, slightly squints, closes his eyes.
Yeah. It's very bright, and you recognize Dolly's voice, but the words don't quite make sense. But she just kind of puts a reassuring hand on your shoulder, and you kind of start to fade back out as Commander Rye walks in.
Because he's declared as
I will stand there. If this was a TV show or a movie, if it looked like someone from the outside would observe this as a romantic moment, I'm totally gonna play that up. I'm gonna stand there like, oh, do the
Well, give us a minute. Okay, there we go. Voice quality went to crap for a minute there. Really? Really? We're doing this? Be right back, guys. Okay. You might want to try disconnecting and reconnecting if you're having trouble.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh gosh, so much better.
Okay.
Hello.
Cool,
So,
Discord. That was fun.
Okay.
Right? Yep, Discord gonna Discord.
F Discord, man.
Guess I shouldn't complain too much. It is free, but still, come on. Okay, so you were just kind of yourself.
Yes. Okay. So after.
Yeah. So
does she look at me all embarrassed like?
Imply I have shame.
We're Romulans. We always have shame.
No.
So yeah, after she'll look up at me. I'll be like, Centurion, I would like your advice on something.
Shut up, Noir.
Of course.
If you're not currently indisposed, he says, looking at Jonas with a smile.
Who is slowly falling back unconscious.
Yeah, there you go. Well then.
And I will just dim the lights around Jonas's bio bed and motion for Commander Rye to follow me into my...
All right. You still there? You cut out on me.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm gonna dim the lights around Jonas's bio bed, and I'll motion for you to join me in my office.
Gotcha. So I go with her to her office. I have here, and I'm going to pull out the pad that has the display of the scan of the captain that I took, and then the scan of the blue box, and say, she wasn't on the bridge for that. Right? She wasn't in the ready room to see that, right?
The science lab, correct. She was in sick bay.
Yeah, no, I was here.
So she didn't see that. So it seems our blue box is able to psychically communicate with the captain. If you'll notice from these readings here and here. No, I did not. Sorry, my girlfriend asked me a question.
No worries.
As you can see from these readings here and here, it seems, by the way the captain responded in these readings, it can indeed happen. My concern is that this device may be able to do more than communicate. If it has perhaps sensory organs similar to the captain's in regards to her psychic abilities, perhaps it could be gleaning information from her. Perhaps I'm just being, he says, kind of rolling his eyes, a Romulan, but I don't trust any form of AI that can psychically connect to our commanding officer.
That is rather concerning.
It is indeed very. It is. I always no. Let me back that up. I always do suspect people. Some people are letting on more than they seem. So I'm not a doctor. I'm an astrophysicist. So, is there anything we can think of biologically that we can do to protect the captain, should the need arise?
There are certain parameters we could undergo. I could perhaps find something to help shield her higher brain functions from being accessed by the artificial intelligence. What did they...
What did they what?
Oh, what did they talk about?
They just talked about, mainly it seems I could gather from her responses that the computer wishes to have itself terminated in order to protect, I assume, the temporal prime directive.
Would you like me to replicate you a hammer?
No, at this point in time, I don't think it's appropriate to immediately destroy the device until we know first of all, what would be the ramifications of doing such.
The ramifications of doing such would be following through with the artificial intelligence's orders.
Well, for all we know, and again, if this thing's, I insert the amount of times from the future, we don't know what will happen. Maybe it'll release an EMP that'll cripple the ship. I don't know. We need to know more before we just switch the thing off because it told us so.
Is it possible for me to conduct some scans of my own?
Please do, he says with utter sincerity. I have it in a monitoring station. It is currently dormant. It will ping my pad and my comm badge if its status changed, but you're more than welcome to conduct a thorough examination.
All right. I'm gonna activate the EMH to just monitor the situation until Pierce gets there.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go to
Please state the nature of the medical
lab.
emergency.
Oh, God. You are requested to monitor the situation in sickbay until I return.
Oh, I see. We are just taking field trips now and leaving the emergency medical hologram to babysit. Very well.
If Jonas were awake, he would he would have words.
I just look at the doctor kind of fondly. I appreciate your assistance.
At the merest inkling of a compliment, the doctor kind of puffs up a little bit and says, "Well, I suppose I wasn't doing anything else at the moment, so very well. I will be here until you return."
And I leave to go to the science lab.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
en route, can I contact Shiana?
yeah. That's what comm badges are for.
um, Plea to Lieutenant Commander Darrow.
Tara here.
I am on my way to the science lab. Would you mind accompanying me?
I'll meet you at the turbo lift.
Excellent.
Okay.
We go to the science lab.
Yeah, that you do.
If you want to do another scene for now, I'm cool with that. If not, it's still going. I don't know if anyone else wants to have a thing.
Um, no, let's. I would say let's follow this.
Okay. So yeah, once we get to with Shiana, I'm going to basically be like, and why aren't we destroying this thing?
Your sound keeps cutting off at the end of
Sorry,
what you're saying.
sorry. Why are we destroying the artificial intelligence?
Because science? I don't know. I myself am torn between wanting all the information and wanting to destroy it myself.
If it has expressed wishes to more or less be euthanized, we should follow through. If it has passed the Turing test, it is capable of making its own decisions.
It has, and that is my understanding, that it has requested to be destroyed because of the temporal prime directive.
There are many species that would benefit from finding such technology and scavenging it.
You mean the Borg?
Not just the Borg, but yes, the Borg.
Yeah, you and I are in agreement on this. The AI should be destroyed sooner rather than later. And I have advised the captain as much.
Perhaps in this case, it is better for forgiveness than permission.
Centurion Dalhi, am I understanding you? And Shanna cocks her head with that look of, don't really say it, but let me know that I just heard what I heard.
Lee kind of tilts her head in the opposite direction of your head tilt. I believe I was perfectly clear.
And that's when you guys arrive at the science lab. Or when y'all arrive, I should say.
Am I there?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I mean, sounds good.
just gonna head towards the blue box to take some basic scans.
Okay.
If I can take medical versions of scans, that'd be cool. But
Yeah, it'd be reason medicine. Are you looking for anything specific?
the breakdown of the biological components.
Gotcha. Okay, it'll be difficulty 3.
And any neural patterns that I can distinguish.
Okay. It'll be difficulty 3. If you are using any of the Science Lab's diagnostic equipment, then the Dauntless would also be able to assist.
Yes, I will.
Okay, then it'll be computers medicine once again for Dauntless.
Would my focus apply for this?
Yes. Yeah, your neurology focus, I would say, would apply for this.
And may I buy an extra dice, please?
You got it.
Cool. Complication.
But 2 successes, and someone's got to roll for the ship.
What's the ship roll?
Computers medicine. Okay. Because the blue box is in a quiescent state, you're actually not able to get any readings, any sort of biological readings from it at all. It's almost as if it's designed to block scans when it's not active.
Fascinating. The artificial intelligence seems to have a manner of
Are we sure we know how to sufficiently destroy it?
I suggested a hammer to Lieutenant Commander Rye.
It would actually probably to demolecularize it with a transporter.
Or a phaser.
Phasers fix any problem if you turn them up high enough.
Centurion, I believe that this is a case in which I might be the one who needs to do the doing. And Shanna pulls out her phaser.
I'm going to put my hand on Shiana's arm. I believe I am the one with what you might call a clear record.
I'm going to spend 2 threat.
Oh, good.
To have the captain walk in as you two are having this discussion.
God damn it!
Did you find anything new?
The device is incapable of being scanned while in a dormant state.
Captain, we should destroy it now.
And Bianca, you were picking up their thought patterns as you were approaching the science lab. That's
I'm aware of what you think.
And it is the wish of the AI to be destroyed.
The
For
AI
cares-
is neither sick or dying or in any sort of pain.
The AI is a threat.
I concur with the Centurion's assessment.
I'm glad that you have figured out the obvious. So was
Captain,
19 when we brought them aboard this ship.
Given they certainly would have assimilated this device.
The Borg could have also assimilated you and learned a lot.
They did.
Captain, why are you reluctant to destroy the AI?
Why would I be reluctant to destroy a sentient being? Any other sentient being? Would we be even having this discussion if they were humanoid?
If
Were
they
human?
if they expressed wishes to die, no.
Captain,
Do
the
we put
AI has
every
been in your head.
Do we put every suicidal person to death just because they wish? We only euthanize if it's a mercy.
Captain, you said yourself that its reason for wanting to be destroyed is the Temporal Prime Directive. Are we not bound to the higher calling of Starfleet and to preserving this timeline and
I'm
to
perfectly
not
well
further
aware of
fucking
the
up
regulation.
this nebula?
I am perfectly well aware of the regulations. I am also aware that there is a lot more going on than meets the eye here.
Then what is your plan?
I'm still forming one. And I will take your suggestion under advisement, believe me. But I believe to destroy it now would be rash.
For just a moment, the blue box becomes active again. And Bianca, you hear a set of coordinates. And you also see something. It looks like a white dwarf star surrounded by an asteroid field.
Does it cause any pain?
No, no pain. It just kind of distracts you from the conversation momentarily.
Bianca just blinks several times in quick succession, shakes her head a little bit.
And then the device shuts back down to its quiescent state.
As
Did we see
obviously
it
my
activate,
alarm
or
will
is this
go off.
something that only Commander Rye is seeing because of the scans he has set up?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably. Well, let me have the
There's
two of
probably a
you.
display set up.
I'm going to have the two of you do an insight security roll. Difficulty 2 here because no one was really paying attention to the blue box. Rye does get this alarm. Where is Rye at the moment?
Wherever plot needs me to be. I probably would have
Okay.
gone back to the science station, but since we determined I
Yeah,
wasn't
so
following
probably on the
them,
bridge.
I went and did. I went and did something. So I went to attend to my duties, not at the science lab. And then when I get the alarm, I'll have the ensign relieve me while I go to the
Yep.
lab.
Thank you, Shanna.
Okay, Shienna,
You're welcome.
actually notice. You actually kind of notice out of the corner of your eye a flickering of activity from the blue box. Right at the same time that you kind of see Bianca look like she's shaking cobwebs out of her head.
At this point, Shiana full on has her phaser pointed at the freaking box.
Stand down.
It says, Captain, it was in your head again, wasn't it?
Showed me. Stand down.
How do I know that's you speaking and not the box?
You are full, and I just look at Dolly and I go, "You're the medic."
I'm gonna take a scan.
Okay. And I assume that Bianca's not doing anything to try and like resist the scan, correct?
No.
Okay. So difficulty 1, reason medicine.
Two successes.
Nice. Okay. You got a floating momentum. And the captain's scans are normal, or at least as normal as they've been since she developed her telepathic ability.
Okay, with the floating momentum, can I capture the neural signature?
Yeah. Well, it'll take 2 momentum, so I would put you down to 5. But to create an advantage to do that, you're looking to create to capture the neural signature of who, the captain or the blue box?
The blue box.
Okay, done.
I'll just look to Shiana and nod. I believe for the moment, the AI has no reason to threaten the captain.
Shanna takes a moment, reholsters her phaser.
I understand.
Captain, I hope you come up with a plan soon.
I understand your concern for whatever it's worth. I understand it. But I'm not ready to throw away a life. Not yet.
Understood.
Welcome to the lab, everybody, I say as I serendipitously turn the corner.
What are you doing here, Rye?
My alert went off that the device became active.
Indeed.
So,
It input a set of coordinates.
so do any of them still have their phaser out? Because I remember someone drawing a phaser.
No, Shiana put it away.
Okay, I was just gonna be like, "Well, this got awkward."
But Bianca inputs the coordinates that the box showed her into one of the lab's consoles.
Astrometrics charts do put a white dwarf star at those coordinates. It's near the edge of Zealand space, clear of the nebula.
Is there any significance to this location, either cross-referenced with Jonas's map or with any other maps?
Cross-referencing it with Jonas's maps, it does appear to be a point of interest.
Put a level 10 force field around the blue box. Make sure that it is not integrated with Dauntless's systems in any way.
for the moment, I hope that you have your wings. Lieutenant Carden is convalescing.
We'll have someone at the con.
Bianca's like, shit, please, I got this.
Shiana secretly wants to fly the ship again. Not Shiana, sorry. Sarah. Bianca, whatever. Sorry.
Whatever. It's fine.
Somebody. Not me.
Jonas sense a disturbance in the force.
Jonas immediately wakes up and stumbles his drunk all the way to the con. I will update you with his condition as it changes.
Please do.
Luckily, it seems whatever occurred will leave no permanent damage.
And Bianca is just going to Bianca's going to have a team of scientists and engineers computer engineers monitor the device just to make sure nothing weird happens with it.
I zoned out for a quick second. Are we heading to this white dwarf?
Yes.
We are? All right. So before I head to the bridge, because I'm an astrophysicist, not an AI specialist, I am going to review, and this is up to the ST, I'm going to review the logs of what happened with the thing. And I'm just curious if I'm able, if I look and see what happened, if I can then see that whole previous scene, watch it on the logs. The only thing I'm really looking forward is what woke it up, and the fact that they drew phasers and all that other business before the captain even showed up. Because me being a sneaky Romulan, that's just juicy stuff to me.
Gotcha.
But I would think if it
Here
wakes
for
up,
the drama.
what's the stimulus? And I probably would have what was going on around it? Let me see. Doop de doop de doop de doop. Oh, there's people talking. They drew a phaser. Holy shit! Kind of
refresh my memory. Shiana, did Shiana draw her phaser before, just as the captain was walking in?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So there was a discussion. Yeah. It looked like they were about to just shoot the device. The captain walked in, more discussing. The device lit up for about 2.5 seconds. Phaser gets leveled at the device again. More conversation, and that's when Rye walked in.
Cool. I will note that, and then kind of give orders to the engineers and all that other business. Am I the lead science officer?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'll give them standard, or let me know if anything changes. I'll put the computer guy in charge of business because that's what he's supposed to do. And then I will go to the bridge to do what I'm really supposed to do, which is quantum shit, and not. I guess if it's a quantum computer, cool, but that's a different quantum.
Does have a focusing
Not the kind of
computer?
quantum you're used to working with.
Exactly.
Tassel, I think, does have a focusing computer.
We'll just have Tassel run point on that, making sure that nothing happens on.
That's fair. Tassel also has a focus in what I call tactile mechanics, hitting things with a wrench.
See this? It's a self-sealing stem bolt. Watch me fix this computer with it. How does that work? Clang!
Clang!
All right. I'm going to pass some time here, and we're going to do a scene change. Jonah, we're going to pass a couple of days here, and that'll give Jonas the time he needs to have recovered.
Yay!
And you guys drop out of warp near the edge of an asteroid field surrounding orbiting a white dwarf star.
I begin a standard sensor sweep of the area.
Okay. Difficulty is for this scan is going to be I'm going to call it 3 because of the radiation from the white dwarf, but that's reduced to 2 because of Dauntless's sensors.
And the ship will
Alright.
assist, right?
Correct.
Yeah. We'll just go with this. I have sensor operations and quantum mechanics. I assume I'm specialized in this particular
Sensor
role.
operations focus applies.
Yeah. Boom. There
There's
you
2.
go. I got 2 successes. So come on, computer, help us out.
Sensor science
I mean,
for
we got enough to
Dauntless.
get it done. Someone run for the computer? Want me to?
No, it sounds like actually, Journey. Why don't you do it? You haven't had you rolling a whole lot.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're sitting there, I was just incidentally happened to have the sheet open.
Oh, no worries.
That's all right.
What's it? What am I rolling for the ship?
Sensor science. All right.
Oops.
Well, you guys made the roll. No worries. Detecting some debris. Well, some debris inside the ring belt that matches what you guys have found before with the derelict technology. Also, there are a couple of Zealand ships on the edge of on the opposite edge of the ring. And let's see how they do. Okay. It does not appear that they've noticed the Dauntless.
Captain, I'm detecting several other Zealand. Is that how I say it? Zealand
Yes.
ships at the far edge of the system. They do not appear.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, two Zealand cruisers.
2 Zealand cruisers on the other side of the system, they do not appear to have detected us at this time. Did I
We're
miss
not
any
actively
plot information?
hostile. We're not actively hostile with the Zealands, so I'm not overly concerned. Maybe we can figure out what they're doing here.
All right.
Although, get the readings that you can on the debris before we let them know that we're here.
Gotcha. Can I spend a point of momentum to get more information on the debris?
You can do it for free with your free ask as a science officer. What are you
Oh,
looking
okay.
to
Well,
ask?
then yes. Yes. What do we? I'm sorry. What do we know about the debris so far?
What you know about the debris so far is there's a small patch of debris that appears to match the scans that you guys have previously taken of the relics of the derelicts that you visited before.
Okay, so it matches the relics I've met before. And okay, am I able to determine? I should say from the so the debris matches the relic. Can I determine like what the structure was before it was destroyed?
Um,
Like, is there enough mass to, I'll do the computer reassemble thing.
Right.
Oh, well, this part goes here. This was clearly, a giant dreidel or something.
From the previous episodes, you guys will recall that future Starfleet built a ring, approximately 1 AU in radius. So this does look to be part of the same construction.
Okay, so I relate that.
Okay. Can we tell if the Zealand are also scanning the debris?
Bianca, based on the readout, you recognize that they're flying in a search pattern.
So they're definitely looking for something.
They're definitely looking for something.
but not just for general debris. They probably have already found that.
A focus scan in their direction or hailing frequency might tell you more.
Yeah, I was actually going to hail them, be like, looking for something? Can we help?
Okay, so hailing frequency's open. You were like Captain
Okay.
West of the USS Dauntless, the whole thing.
Yeah. This is Captain Bianca West of the USS Dauntless. It appears you're searching for something. Maybe we be of assistance.
It takes a few seconds, but there's a little bit of distortion in the signal, probably due to radiation from the white dwarf. But Zealand captain comes on and says, "USS Dauntless, your presence here was not anticipated. We are searching for pirates."
Pirates. Didn't realize there was pirate activity in this region.
Several of our nearby systems have had convoys and Zealand military vessels attacked. We are seeking the source of the attacks.
So, is it possible while he's talking for me to check like records of the area that Starfleet might have to corroborate his story or to figure out if he's feeding us?
Dauntless is the first Starfleet vessel to visit this system.
Gotcha. There you go. Then never mind. What about the systems he was talking about? He said they were attacking people nearby. Am I able to, check reports or intelligence?
You could actually check intelligence reports.
Cool.
Let's see.
Also, Don, I was going to, while we were en route to this star, I was going to be spending time researching control.
Researching control. Okay. Yeah. Since I just skipped straight forward, I'll let you retcon that.
Okay.
All right. Rye, for you, this is going to be reason command. No, reason security.
Okie dokie.
Difficulty here is going to be 3. It's not typically like it's not typically inside a science officer's bailiwick to be looking up intelligence reports. So
well, not normal science officers.
So there are
we have
levels of security that you might be kind of sidestepping, hence the increased difficulty.
Sounds good. I'm gonna spend a point of momentum.
Or you could just have the security officer do it.
I mean, my reason security is 15. So unless someone has a,
how is
so is Shiana's actually.
How is your security also 5 if your science is 5?
No, my reason is
4.
Yeah, my science is 4. My reason is and yeah.
So
yeah.
That is a question of who wants to be the one to do it, or do you want to assist?
I mean, I'll
Shiana
assist
with
her if it's
with her
mechanically better. Yeah. I mean, I have no reason to hog the glory. I'm just thinking like a Romulan, like, oh, when someone says to you, your presence was not expected, and then feeds you a line, that's probably bullshit. So, if the security officer, I will, type in on the console. I'll text her and tell her, we should check, Starfleet records and sensor scans of the area to, see if we can corroborate a story.
And Shiana texts you back, of course, already on it.
Cool. Then I will assist her then.
Okay. So I'm going to lower the difficulty to 2 because Shiana.
Well, I'm no goddamn help, so.
Because Shiana, actually, it is the chief security officer's bailiwick. No focus that applies here. Okay. Okay. Taking the complication in stride.
Eek, did I just like roll a natural 20?
You did.
Gross.
You did. Do you want to spend a determination to re-roll, or do you want to let it ride?
Let's let it ride for now.
Okay. Intel reports from the USS Shroud do not indicate any pirate activity in the system.
Is Bianca's BS meter going off because she has a good one?
It is not. No, he appears to be telling the truth.
Hmm. Well, and I would imagine Bianca pays attention to the Shroud's reports whenever they do come in.
It's seeing as it's the only intelligence ship operating out this far.
So she's just gonna kind of be like, cause she's gonna just definitely play it straight and be like, hadn't heard anything about that. And she goes, may we be of assistance?
Your ship has advanced sensor technology. You may assist. If you find anything out of the ordinary, please contact us immediately.
Of course.
And with that, he closes the channel.
Well, at least poking the wasp's nest is not making them angry.
Literally, since they're insectoid.
I kind of envision them to kind of be like wasps. They're kind of assholes.
My character will turn. I will actually, just because I don't want to look like a total douchebag, I'm going to text the security officer like we should increase patrols, because if we want to play friendly, they could beam over at any time. So definitely pump up security on the ship.
Oh, I'm gonna take the ship to yellow alert because if there's potentially pirates in the area.
Oh, there we go.
Potentially pirates, not to mention the radiation hazard. Yellow
Yes.
alert.
Here we go. Oh, that was. I heard the yellow alert signal, but
And
didn't
then
know.
Lieutenant Carden, engage reconnaissance pattern Omega.
Is Jonas on the bridge?
Yes. Yeah, we passed a couple of days so that he could be.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Also, did the
go ahead.
blue box do anything over the past few days?
It has been quiescent. It's been completely quiet.
Did I learn about vision like while he was recovering? Did he tell me about it?
Yeah, he would have shared the information.
Okay. I'm gonna start doing research into that if that's cool.
Okay.
Like, see if any species that the Borg ever encountered had folklore about another species like that. You know, kind of like how when Mega they did the same thing, and like they assimilated species that had like stories about like like things that could destroy the sky and everything. I'm kind of doing basically.
Okay. It's something that let's say for the purpose of streamlining things, it's some research that you did over the past couple of days while Dauntless was at warp.
Yeah, that's
That being said, your most exhaustive searches didn't like you're always going to find ghost stories in any culture's folklore. And the problem here is that you don't have enough to go off of to substantiate anything. Like you've got a name, you kind of have a visual, and you have a sound, but like probably
Ooh.
90% of what you came up with was the equivalent of folklore about Fae of the like the Fae, the Will o' the Wisps, that
Right.
sort of thing. Banshees,
Can,
like
right. Can I take? Okay, there would be two other things I would do. I would take
uh
the name of the species, which I have forgotten. I'm sorry.
no worries, I'll put it in the chat.
And I would yeah, the Skeena. And I would have gone to the blue box and just set it to see if I got a reaction.
No response.
No response. Cool. And then I would have taken, and I'm going to, I guess, well, this is happening because it would be the most recent thing that I thought of. Be playing it through various bandwidths and like adjusting the hertz and the frequency and everything to see if I can make any sense of it
Like looking for a pattern
in the
in the
noise.
spectral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Uh, what are you performing that analysis on? Just the name or the sound that it made, or what?
Both.
Okay, because I mean you don't really have an exact replica of the sound that it made. Like
Yeah,
Jonas probably would have given you his best approximation and then requested a throat lozenge.
that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Uh,
But I would have
and in
been like,
fact,
oh,
you
it's
guys could
between
have
like
spent.
these hertz and like this
Yeah.
kind of,
In
you
fact,
know.
I'm going to say that you guys spent probably 2 duty shifts just kind of trying to reproduce the noise itself.
Okay.
Um, and you feel like it's close, but Jonas keeps saying that there's something missing. Like there's a dimension to the sound, to the original sound, that's not there in the reproduction.
Okay. So yeah, I will run the name through various linguistic databases, um, and whatnot, and just keep working on the sound and seeing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what I will be doing while we are pirating.
Well, and also to kind of like follow on to that, I wanted to do more research about control because I had conversation about it with Captain Pike.
Okay.
I just hadn't like it wasn't like because Captain Pike was not all that like technically familiar with what it was
He
necessarily.
just
It's just
he understood the scope of the threat. He didn't understand the technical details, and there was probably a lot that he wouldn't have been able to talk about anyway.
right. But
So
but Bianca's gonna use her command codes to try and
yeah, enough has been declassified by this point uh, that you have a pretty good profile on what control was. It was an artificial intelligence that at one point directed Starfleet operations. Uh, it actually issued orders to admirals in the 2250s. Uh, this was probably the first in a series of events that made Starfleet very wary of artificial intelligence in general. Between that and the M5 initiative of that was uh, that was attempted on the USS Enterprise. The difference was that control, from what Captain Pike shared, would have destroyed all sentient life in the galaxy had it not been stopped when it was. And had the discovery not been taken somewhere else.
but there's no record of where Discovery went or
There's there's no record, and it was one thing that Captain Pike steadfastly said he could not talk about. Actually, no, I'll take that. I take that back. According to the conversation you guys had, it was destroyed.
Well, here's the thing. I would have known that he was lying about that. But I wouldn't have pushed it.
Yeah.
I knew he was lying, but I knew he was lying under orders type of lie.
Yep. Cover story. So, while it's likely that Discovery was not in fact destroyed, you don't know what became of it. And there's no clear motive as to why Control was interested in Discovery in the first place.
Well, and if Discovery is unaccounted for, technically,
Yep.
it's destroyed, but not but Bianca knows not destroyed, or at least suspects.
Something like that.
She would have gone to the blue box with this.
With the information on Control?
Would have asked what happened to Discovery. And probably been told that they can't tell them about it.
Temporal Prime Directive.
It happened in the past. How can it be temporal prime directive?
Now there's the question, isn't it?
Imparting that information to you, Captain, would also be a violation of the Temporal Prime Directive.
Can Bianca maybe put some pieces together?
In terms of the character maybe knowing something that the player doesn't?
No, kind of in terms of like, well, they're saying that it would be a violation of the temporal prime directive, but if Discovery was in the past but it went missing, ergo.
Give me an insight science roll.
Okay.
I'm going to make the difficulty 2.
Alright, I'm going to use. Would my composure focus apply?
Not composure, but I would say inspiration would apply here.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna take a momentum.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get the distinct impression, based on the responses both from Captain Pike and from the AI, that Discovery's location is not a question of where, it's a question of when.
They went into the future. Didn't they?
Again, I am prohibited from sharing with you any information that might violate the Temporal Prime Directive.
That's all I need to know. And Bianca just, and this is the knowledge Bianca has in this scene.
Yeah,
Scanning for
we did a
pirates.
flashback.
Yeah. So, pirates.
Pirates.
Yeah, so I ordered Jonas to do a
Search
search
pattern,
pattern.
Omega, yes.
And Jonas goes, "I'm captain," and he will proceed to start the correct.
Okay, so knowing where some part or parts of the derelict might be, what's you guys' plan in terms of conducting your search?
Oh, just scan those bits as we get close and, just kind of do it on the sly.
Okay. In that case,
Doing it on the sly? That's exactly what I do.
I think you spoke Rye's language. Let's do a reason
The
science.
Romulan language is a language of subtlety. All right. So, we want me to scan on the down low, I take it?
Are you guys in fact doing passive scans or active?
Active scans, it's just, I mean, there could be pirates hiding in that debris field.
Okay. I'm going to make the difficulty here 3, that's reduced from 4. You guys are going to be fighting radiation from the white dwarf, along with a fair amount of debris in the asteroids that's reflecting some of your sensor scans.
Gotcha. I'm going to take a point of momentum.
Okay.
Just because my focus applies.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and roll. Wait, do I have this right? Task roll?
Reason
I clicked the
science,
wrong thing. I clicked the task.
Oh,
the
yeah,
complication
that
range
certainly
of
would
3.
not have been the right roll.
That's not
and
what I
then,
want here. Okay.
and then someone roll sensor science for Dauntless.
Ooh, big money.
Nicely done.
3 right there. Yeah. All right, ship, help us out here.
Captain.
Someone rolling for the ship, or do I need to?
What's the ship rolling?
Ship is rolling sensor science.
Captain.
Yes,
do we
darling.
even know who these supposed pirates are?
No idea. I intend to get to the bottom of that mystery.
Well, we know the supposed pirates are potentially a ruse. So we are, quote unquote, scanning for pirates. They may actually be here, but it sounds unlikely.
Captain, there may be a benefit to contacting the Zealand again and asking them if they have more information about the pirates.
Agreed.
So
we could also potentially. Now, this all depends on how real the threat is, even if the information we don't have. If we need to get closer, or we can use the pirates as cover. Now, they'll know there probably aren't really pirates, but then that'll either they either have to let us get closer to do whatever it is we do, and to keep up their ruse, or potentially breach their ruse to stop us.
So let me tell you guys what you found with the 3 successes on your roll.
It was from 3 to 4. I thought it was 4.
No, it's reduced to 3 from 4 because Dauntless has
Awesome.
a talent that reduces the difficulty of sensor scans.
Cool.
So, you're picking up, not as you're delving into the asteroids themselves, you start picking up signs of other substances. There is rather clearly debris from Zealand ships in this asteroid field. There are numerous small objects that register as artificial, and there look to be at least 2 what look to be inert Zealand frigate-sized ships. All in the vicinity of the derelict.
I have a hypothesis. Can I scan again for it, or can you just tell me if I'm correct?
Well, what type of scan would you be looking to do?
I think to see if there are traces of like weapons fire.
Okay.
Like a tactical.
So yeah, let's do reason
so
security
tactical
for
scan.
you. Difficulty, because of the success on the previous roll, I'm going to reduce to 2. The Dauntless will be able to assist with sensor security. Okay. Who's got the ship?
I'm sorry, what's the ship rolling? I've got kids in the background.
No
making
worries.
lots of noise.
Sensors security. Okay. Nicely rolled.
Okay, so my theory before the scan is that it appears that this piece of the derelict was protecting itself. from the Zealand ships.
There are traces of weapons fire in the area. However, the weapons fire uh, appears to be ion banks, which, because of the successes that you guys had with this roll and with the roll before it, you're able to discern even through the ionizing radiation of the white dwarf. And you know that Zealand ships use ion weaponry. But there doesn't appear to be any other type of weapons fire.
Captain, this is strange.
What do you have?
Scans reveal that there have been Ion's weapons fire, but it's the Zealand ships that are destroyed, and the piece of the derelict that seems to be still intact.
You're also registering weapon signatures on those small objects that are near the derelict's debris field, but they don't match any sort of weapon you've seen before.
They're testing weapons.
Some kind of turret?
But why test
Mines.
weapons on this?
What? What'd you say, Don?
I said mines.
Oh, they're mines. Oh gosh, you're right.
Huh. Romulans enjoyed mine.
Is it a way for the derelict to protect itself?
They're
Maybe-
Zealand mines, aren't they?
According to Lieutenant Commander Darrow, they don't match any known weapons composition.
Which means that they're most likely from the derelict. Can we tell? Can I tell? Can Shiana tell anything from like the
They don't-
distribution
honestly,
pattern of the mines?
The distribution patterns doesn't seem to indicate anything one way or another, but one thing you do note is, kind of paradoxically, these mines aren't advanced enough to have been put in place by the derelict. Someone else may have laid them, though.
So if I'm hearing right, there's ridiculously advanced mines in place that wasn't in place by the derelict.
Not ridiculously advanced, just not something Starfleet has previously encountered.
All right, so strange alien mines that was not laid around the derelict, but are not of the derelict. So
And they're not
perhaps
Zealand.
somebody's protecting their quote unquote salvage.
There's definitely a third party involved.
It seems these pirates are, in fact, an actual thing and not simply a ruse. I do agree with Commander Darrow. We should contact Zealand for further information.
I'm gonna send the scans of the mines to the Zealand, being like, "You guys seeing this too?"
Somebody give me a control engineering roll. And difficulty.
Jonas! Your skill!
Okay, control what?
Control engineering. Difficulty is going to be 2. The Dauntless can
Okay.
assist with computers engineering.
Does this have anything to
Actually,
do
make
with
it comms engineering. Sorry.
comms engineering? Oh.
For the Dauntless, yes.
Okay. Does this have anything to do with would this have anything to do with like my flight controller talent or my Pathfinder talent?
It does not.
Okay, just checking. And you said control engineering?
Yes.
Any of my focuses come into play here?
Let me check.
Astro navigation, evasive actions, helm operations, small
nope.
craft.
None of your focuses apply here. This is attempting to send a signal. through a
Okay.
substantial amount of interference.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a dice for a momentum for an extra dice, just to be
Okay.
safe.
I'm actually going to spend 2 threat to increase your difficulty to 3.
Oh, okay.
He's rolling. I'm going to go, Lieutenant Darrow, Commander Darrow, to send me all the information she got on the weapon. I want to look them over.
Sorry, did you raise my complication range or did you
No.
raise the difficulty?
I raised the difficulty.
Okay,
So
just
it's a
making
difficulty
sure.
3 roll. Your complication range is normal. And Dauntless can roll comms. What did I say? I said, yeah, communication engineering from the Dauntless. If someone would roll that.
I'll roll it. Let me pull up the
Okay.
sheet.
Okay.
Boop.
You send the transmission, but you don't get any response from the Zealand.
Is it possible? Jonas is gonna look back at the captain, and Captain, would it be advisable to try and listen right now to see if I can find any?
I don't see why not.
That's when Jonas, when your panel lights up with a communication. Incoming hail.
Oh, incoming hail, Captain.
On screen.
Putting it on screen, Captain.
The face that appears is very startlingly cat-like. And if you didn't know better, you would swear it was a Fellathrix face. And he says, and the individual says, "Before you go out sending any more signals, I think we need to have a conversation."
Oh. And then she just kind of goes, Captain Bianca West with the USS Dauntless.
And
you are?
calling a 5-minute break so I can come up with a name. BRB.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Dawn, never change.
Don't worry, I won't. Actually, it won't take me 5 minutes. Just give me a moment here. Shoot, what are those? Help me out, guys. What are the cat folks in Skyrim called?
Khajiit.
The
Khajiit?
Yeah, the Khajiit.
Thank you. I'm like, come on. Like, I could remember where they're from. I could remember elsewhere, but I could not remember the name generator. Okay. So, pressing
This
on.
one is in space.
Call me Nasuna. I am, shall we say, the chief of this little station.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Are you, how long have you been chief of this station?
11 days! Sorry, no, kidding. I say going on 3 years now.
Well, that's interesting because it's a lot. That hunk of junk's a lot older than that.
Well, we've been living in it for quite a while. Tell you what, why don't we have a conversation in person? Come on over. No weapons,
Wolf?
no more communications out to the Zealand who are no doubt looking for us, and no one gets hurt, right?
I suppose not. I don't have any quarrel with the Zealand right now. What makes you think I can trust you? What would make me think I can trust you?
Because everyone on this station is an escaped slave of the Zealand.
That does track. Okay. Is there? And then Bianca just cuts off communication. And then she goes over to Jonas's and puts her hand on the back of his chair, and she goes, keep up the search pattern. And do it quietly. Fly casual.
Aye, Captain. I can do that.
And I think probably taking a shuttle would be the best bet, right?
Yeah, given the radiation coming off the white dwarf, you probably don't want to risk transporters.
And would there be any way to like camouflage it or stealth it in?
You guys could run silent.
Okay.
I mean,
Could we? You know what we could
there's
do?
a fair amount of interference from the white dwarf, though. So, like, if Dauntless were to minimize power to everything except for life support and the shields, it would be incredibly hard for anyone to pick you up on scanners.
You know what else we could do?
Hmm.
We could fire off some sensor probes that are really just sending out massive sensor signals to cover up your signal as you go through. So essentially, just kind of like almost a distraction.
Okay, look, a distraction. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, what are they doing? They're sending out a bunch of sensor probes. Yeah, they're sending out a bunch of photon radiation. That seems really weird. Why would they do that? And then doop doop doop.
Be right back, guys.
You could actually like fly your shuttle between it and the whatever bullshit radiation we come with could mask the shuttle.
Yeah,
and we got a million other ways too. I'm just, I'm the science officer, so I'm thinking, how can I bullshit science to make this work?
Are you gonna take Shiana with you?
Yes, and actually,
well, we should have a. Perhaps on that note. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I think
Jonas wants to pilot that shuttle because best pilot besides Captain.
Actually, I think I want to talk to this guy.
So is it going to be you and Shiana and Plakir?
Yeah, we can do that.
Does that mean I'm in charge of the ship while you're gone?
Okay, I'm back, guys.
Aren't you the doctor?
Centurion would also be the ranking officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Centurion would be the ranking officer.
I was a captain before I got integrated.
I'm a science officer. I really don't care who's in charge.
But yeah, no. I'm going to leave Dauntless with Dali, and I'm going to go on the shuttle with Plakir and Shiana.
Okay.
Wee.
So, real quick, I want to be a little underhanded, but I want to know if this is going to work. So,
being underhanded, probably.
Stealing from Star Trek VI, I want to slap a patch on the captain so I can detect her 2 sectors away, but that no one seems to notice throughout an entire fucking trial. So I want to tell the captain good luck as I slap some sort of tracker on her.
And how are you going to do that?
I am going to be just very clandestine about it. I love how much momentum we have. I would love to spend for an advantage.
Okay, yep, I was going to say 2 momentum to create the advantage of having the tracker. and then
Cool.
daring
Yeah.
security to plant it. Difficulty is
Oh, yeah.
whatever you roll is going to be how difficult it is for someone else to find it.
Okay. Alrighty here. So, let's see here. Could I say, does the ends justify the means as my value? Because I am, without the captain's knowledge, slipping a tracker on her. I might, you know what I'm going to do? Here's
Yeah.
how here's how I'm going to cover it story wise. She's going through some serious delta radiation, blah, 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 blah. Captain, take this pill. It will help combat the effects. Inside the pills are whatever I need to beam her out. So I am
And
slipping
when
the
did
captain.
you become the medical officer?
I'm an astrophysicist. I know what happens when you get exposed to insert X radiation. Do you
So
want me
do
to tell you?
I.
Yeah, do you want me to tell? Oh, well, I won't do it in front of you.
Well,
I'm
you're
on the
both on the
bridge.
bridge.
Oh, I will
Plan
follow.
Plan A might have been more feasible.
Whichever, however makes it work. I am trying to say, does my determination, the ends justify the means?
That
I'm
or the price
clandestinely.
of peace is vigilance. Either would apply here.
Whichever sounds good, and I will count that as an automatic one on my roll.
Okay.
I'm also going to spend another point of momentum to get an extra dice because I want to make this really hard to find.
Okay.
You said daring plus what?
Daring security.
Cool. All right, big money, big
And
money.
Bianca, is Bianca on board with this, or
I'm not
Bianca
going to
has
tell the
no
captain.
idea.
I'm not
Okay.
telling her. That's kind of my mind,
Okay.
how my ends justify the means. Because if she knows, yada yada, I'm going to do the Spock thing. I slapped a Viridian patch on her
Fair.
back when she doesn't know, and then when she emerges from the shield, we'll be able to beam her out or whatever.
Okay. Bianca, let me have you give me a daring security roll here as well.
Okay. We might composure focus supply.
Not here, no.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a little bit out of character for Rye, which is why you kind of don't expect it coming, but he just kind of slaps you on the shoulder and says, Captain, I just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you.
So after that, I will return to my post. The way I see it is I do it just before she gets on the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it on the bridge in front of everybody,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Fair enough.
But was Shiana there?
Yes, and I will give you a chance to spot this using insight security.
All right.
I had a quick question. Was Jonas staying on the ship, piloting the ship, or was Jonas going to fly the level over?
We need you here because the captain can fly.
Captain
Okay,
will fly.
just making
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, no, it's just a shuttle. We're not taking the level. The level's too.
Too big.
Yeah.
Mm,
Don't you
gotcha.
have
We also,
constantly
too-
watching Shannon?
Shiana's always watching.
Well, if she notices, I'm going to make a constant notice wink at her. We'll see.
Yeah, so insight security. Kate, if you want to roll it. Okay, no. She has managed to catch her not looking at the moment. She's probably double checking her phaser before, or no, well, begrudgingly leaving the phaser behind. And probably kind of focused on that at the moment.
Giving it one last longing.
Right? It's like, you mean I can't take the TR-116 either? You're ruining all my fun.
It'd be really nice to have some grenades right about now.
Yeah. Also, Kate, if you're saying anything, we can't hear you.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I haven't been saying anything.
Okay,
Sorry.
just making sure.
I'm here. Just do my role.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys are all on board the shuttle, and it's um, rather quick flight. The
Do I
transmission
have to make a con
source.
roll?
I'm not going to make you make a con roll here.
Okay.
Mostly because you've got time to kind of do this without being stressed out.
Okay.
We're gonna do the sensor probe plan to help mask their signal.
Okay.
Distraction.
So as the shuttle launches, Dauntless launches a number of probes
Right here.
that head
Okay.
sort of in the general vicinity of the white dwarf itself. And in addition
Okay,
to
and on
I try to be quiet.
in addition to kind of screeching the signal that you have them doing as decoys, they're also feeding you telemetry about the white dwarf itself.
okay, and then on the way over, Shiana would like to say something to Bianca.
Okay.
Captain, I apologize for my near insubordination earlier in regards to the AI and its destruction.
I've come to expect it.
That's an unfortunate assessment of my ability to obey the chain of command, isn't it?
Just don't think about doing something without my okay again.
Of course. I just want you to know that I'm concerned about this face-to-face meeting.
That's why I have you along, isn't it?
Of course. And Shiana grins.
Hmm. And by the way, I know the threat having the AI on board represents.
I know that you do, and thus my apology, and I ask your forgiveness.
Nothing to forgive. You're being careful. I've decided to destroy it anyway.
Preferably before the Zealand have a chance to get to it.
They won't even come close to it. Trust me.
Of course they won't. It's Dauntless.
Remember that one time we sent we had to tow their asses back home because we beat them up with it?
Oh man, they're kind of pathetic.
Hmm.
So, just a quick note of how my character behaves. Is the Centurion in charge?
Yes. Dolly is
Okay.
Dolly is in the chair.
Well, so what would be just a quick note, not going to role play through it all. Once I return to the bridge, and we can make the rolls for that, like I will strangely, though I'm sure my file hints at it, seem to know how to handle myself as if we're going to about ready to be into a fight. So I'm going to liaison with the tactical officer because I have my I have the advantage student of war. So I'm going to scan for any possible way where an attack could come from and be ready to make some moves.
Okay.
Which will just for narrative purposes, like he has like almost a little bit different of a walk when he's on the bridge right now.
Gotcha.
Are you expecting Commander?
I always expect trouble, Centurion. But don't worry, I feel very confident with a Romulan in charge. And he'll say with a wink,
You don't feel confident?
I feel very confident with a Romulan in charge. He says with a wink.
Jonas is just gonna keep up the search pattern very, very, very secretly. Like he's trying not to be very
casual.
obvious.
Yeah, just like I'm just gonna like look towards Jonas's chair and then like just look out the view screen and just kind of subtly shake my head.
The individual at the tactical station, by the way, is a Gorn, and I don't know if you've met Sisram before, but
No,
he's
but I know what Gorn are.
yeah. This one's
Back.
This Ram's my buddy.
Sisram
Yeah.
Yeah,
stands
he's my buddy
probably
too.
about 3 meters even,
Yeah. So
and just kind
here
of
is
regards
Goliath.
you
I am David in a
much like
situation.
a yeah, and is kind of regarding you with that, like, the way that snakes stare. That's just kind of the way he's
I'm gonna
dissecting you in his mind. You're not entirely sure.
I'm gonna once Rye has kind of finished talking to Sisram and moved back to his own station. I'm just gonna look to Sisram and give him a look like, please just humor him.
Incidentally, my character, I get bonuses to assisting combat actions. So,
All right.
so it may seem out of character, but it's something like, oh shit, he ain't wrong.
No, he ain't wrong, but we're not expecting a fight at the moment. Hopefully. But
Centurion, we are between apparently slavers and or pirate hunters and the pirates and or slaves, and we were not expected. I'm
that's
sure when the
why.
Zealand find out, if they find out what we're doing, they won't be happy. And I hope they underestimate us.
However, being we will go diplomatic route before opening fire.
Indeed, as I walk the valley, fear no evil, because I have a big phaser, and I'm the baddest starship in the sector.
And a full load of quantum torpedoes.
However, if it makes you feel more confident and more at ease, if we do engage in battle, Lieutenant Commander, button.
That last bit broke up.
Oh, I will let you push the big red button.
He says, actually, with some very sinister / serious tone, I've had enough of pressing big red buttons, Centurion.
Very
I think
well.
right now I'll scan for some life forms, and I'm going to pull out my pad, which has the detailed scan of the captain, set it down in front of my sensor station, and ready to scan for the captain with my 2 advantages.
Okay.
When I need to.
If at any point Jonas would actually like to go ahead and listen when there's a chance for him to do that.
Okay. I will let you do that right now, in fact.
Oh, okay.
Insight Command, what are you listening for?
Jonas would like to listen for anything discordant, out of place. Like, he knows the derelict will come back at him and confuse his brain cells. He knows that's there.
Mhm.
But he wants to listen for anything out of place, secretive. Like, he's basically doing his own sort of scan, as you
Okay.
would.
Okay. Yeah, so let's do Insight Command. I'm going to set the difficulty here at 3 because you were mostly recovered, but you still feel a little bit wobbly in the listening department.
Okay. My attunement focus will come into play. I would like to, since I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything else, I would like to burn a value to see if I can get this.
Okay. What value are you calling upon?
Not everything can be learned in school.
Okay. Go ahead and mark your determination. You've got 2 successes going in. And you can roll when you're ready. All right, 3 successes. You've kind of acclimated to the sound of the derelict by now. You know what that feels like. You can sense the the people who the captain is going to meet,
Mm-hmm.
and the Zealand, and everything that's not the derelict seems like it's in the place where it's supposed to be.
Okay. Okay. Uh, he'll open his eyes after a moment, and then looking over at Dali, he'll nothing. I'm not sensing anything I shouldn't be right now.
That is reassuring. Hopefully, there will be little to no surprises.
Hopefully. With that in mind, when Jonas turns back to his console to do the very not looking like he's doing anything flying the ship, he's going to keep himself open to sensing anything
Okay.
because if someone decides to hurtle an asteroid at them at point blank range, he wants to be able to do something really quickly, just in case.
Okay, duly noted.
He is active scanning at the moment.
And we're going to drop to the base. The derelict, uh, unsurprisingly, at least this part of the derelict kind of met a violent end with a larger chunk of asteroid. And so this is where you guys end up bringing the shuttle down. Uh, there's a hangar, and it seems like a good deal of the complex is underground, uh, with some of the structures having been built up over the intervening years, probably since uh, this Nasuna and his clan, motley crew came in.
I'm envisioning a very Farscape kind of a thing. Like one of those little asteroids full of commerce and stuff.
Probably, yeah. I would say yes. Once you guys have docked, there is a fair amount of activity. Like this isn't just. This doesn't look like a pirate outpost. Like Shiana's been to some kind of seedy places, and honestly, this looks more like a refugee camp.
Hmm. And Bianca gets off the shuttle. They're wearing their excursion uniforms.
Mm-hmm. Uh, the uh, looking fellow you met, or that you spoke with over the comms, approaches with a couple of people on either side, bodyguards possibly, or possibly his senior officers, if there were to be such a thing. It's not entirely clear how they're organized.
And Bianca just approaches and she goes, Captain Bianca West. These are my officers, Lieutenant Commander Darrow and does Plucker have a rank?
The Pretty sure she does. Let me look. She might not. No, she's a scientist. Her rank is doctor.
And
Actually,
Dr.
well,
Plucker.
is she a doctor or is she lieutenant? Like she's lieutenant in
Oh
the
yeah,
Klingon
lieutenant
defense.
then. Sorry, I couldn't remember.
And
Then I just pulled
Lieutenant
up the character
Plucker.
sheet. Uh, he kind of regards you and motions to one of his officers, uh, who holds out what looks to be some sort of scanning device, for just a couple of moments. Then puts it away and says, "Thanks for not bringing weapons." trust is a hard commodity, especially out here.
You can say that again. The reason why is because I think I've been to where you're from.
Uh, and he just kind of looks perplexed.
I don't think you've been there personally, but I think your ancestors have been.
He seems to get what you're throwing down at this point and says, right. Yeah, it's probably been 3 full generations since any of our folks have seen their homeworlds. Our gang, and he sort of gestures around, collectively call ourselves the Kislani. Because when the Zealand take away every family, all the family you've ever known, you have to make do with the family you're given.
I understand. There's a planet in. Would it be? Is Felithrix in this sector?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it?
It's on the opposite side of Zealand space, but it's in the sector.
There's a planet in this sector called Felithrix.
Captain, you might as well be speaking a foreign language.
I understand that. But it's my hypothesis. Based on. Because I made first contact with that people. And 500 years, and I discovered evidence that 500 years ago the Zealand had oppressed the population.
Yeah, they made first contact too. Didn't quite turn out all right.
Well, it's gone a lot better since we've been involved.
All right. You said you weren't hostile with the Zealand, so I don't imagine you're out here to do us any favors.
We're not hostile with the Zealand out of necessity. We are from a galactic federation that is 9,000 light years from here. We don't have the support to be openly hostile with the Zealand in their backyard.
When you mentioned that when you mentioned the 9,000 light year figures, one of the officers on the Nasuna's left side just kind of lets out a low whistle.
And Shiana makes this small little face like, why did you tell them we're alone?
Because we're not actually alone now.
But still.
Like a little telepathic conversation going on here.
It's a Shiana face, you know it.
Or a non-verbal conversation, I should say.
And this is the Canet commander look that she gets in command in response.
Yes, received and understood.
And Bianca just goes, so it's in our best interests not to be openly hostile with New Zealand. However, we did have to remind them that they are not welcome in the Felithrix system anymore. In fact, we towed a heavily damaged cruiser back to their nearest colonized world when that happened.
I would have paid to see that, mate. You do have a pretty ship, I will say that.
She gets the job done. So tell me your story.
My story?
your story, your collective story?
Started a few years ago. Me and a few of my mates managed to, shall we say, engineer an escape attempt. Went pretty well. Realized we needed somewhere to hide. Figured a white dwarf with an asteroid field around it's a perfect place to hide. Finding this place, well, that was just a bonus. Already working life support, mostly intact. It's got who knows what for power. We haven't been able to figure out how things work. Just they work, and that's good enough for us. So it's made a nice little base of operations while we occasionally go out and engineer other escape attempts.
I see. How many have you liberated?
Like I said, everyone who's here is an escaped slave. Probably about 500 of us all told.
And Bianca just nods.
And Shiana looks really impressed with these people.
Well, and I'm sure
Because liberating slaves. Hello, this is something Shiana herself has done.
right. And Bianca gets absolutely like no reason she shouldn't trust these people, like telepathically speaking.
They're being no. Nasuna's being open with you, as far as you can tell.
Well, and it tracks with what we've known of the Zealand from the beginning, basically. So that's why Bianca's being open in turn.
Captain, Shiana says.
Yes.
Perhaps there's some way that we can help.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I want to take you back home.
Look, mate, I appreciate the offer, but we go back home. That means every other slaver ship gets to travel through this sector unmolested. Every one of those slaves never gets a chance of freedom.
Then let us
Now,
help you free them.
now,
And
if
Bianca,
anyone, now, if
at
anyone,
that, Bianca holds her hand up.
now, if anyone in my crew wants to go, I'll put the word out. Because not everyone here is a fighter. Not everyone needs to be here. But me, my senior crew, will be staying.
Bianca just nods. She goes, unfortunately, my people can't go around liberating slaves in every ship we come across, every Zealand ship we come across.
That'd be a hell of a show if you could, though, wouldn't it? And he just kind of grins.
It would be, but it would be risking open war.
And
Which,
Shiana bites her tongue, bites her tongue, bites her tongue.
and which Bianca picks up on, and so she emphasizes, which unfortunately is not my call to make.
Well, a guy can daydream about a ship like Dauntless taking out Zealand cruisers right and left. If that ever happens, I hope you'll come grab us and bring us along for that ride.
What I can do is this. I can evacuate the people that you need evacuated. However, and I will bring this issue up to my superiors and see what they would like to do about it. Because we have evidence that the Zealand have taken slaves in the past, but this is the first evidence that we have that they are currently using slaves. I'm not sure if we can formally do anything, but
And that's exactly why I have to stay, isn't it? Because
I don't intend on trying to make you leave.
as a government, your hands are tied, but the things an individual can do, now that's another matter. But I suspect we're getting away from what actually brought you here, unless what actually brought you here was somehow related to what we've been doing.
Actually, we've been looking for, and Bianca just gestures around stuff like this. We've run into several other fragments like this in the nebula.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say I've gotten out that much, but tell you what, maybe there's something you can make head or tails of.
What you got?
And he kind of motions to you to your crew to follow him.
And we follow.
Okay. Uh, he leads he leads the three of you uh, through through like the main living area and through the other side. Uh, Calls up a turbo lift. Uh, Motions you guys to step inside, and the turbo lift starts going down for a rather noticeable period of time.
During this time, I'm actually going to lean over to Pluck Hair and ask her and just kind of whisper something to her, and then I'm gonna look at our friend and say, "Do you mind if my officer takes some scans of you?"
It's only fair. We scanned you when you arrived.
And she just nods to Pluck Hair.
All right. Uh, Placer takes out a medical tricorder and kind of waves the scanner over Nizuna and says, "Captain, this being is genetically Fellathrix,
That's what I thought.
but culturally probably couldn't be more different.
Hmm.
Consider any Fellathrix slaves have been removed from their homeworld for the last 5 centuries. Would be like European and American slavery back during Victorian era Earth, 18th, 19th century."
Well, we'll see. We'll answer the question of where we take them later, but we do need to get them out of here.
As many as want to go, I have to say I agree with Shiana. I admire the ones who want to stay and fight.
As do I. I wish I could help them.
You'll find a way, Captain. The three of
The
us
right way.
can find a way. Remind me to have Shiana here, and she just kind of playfully punches Shiana on the shoulder. If she hasn't already, tell you how she helped bring down Styles.
Well, one hates to brag, but one will allow other people to brag on their behalf.
At that, Plakir laughs as the elevator doors open. The hallway, or no, it's not even. Well, there's a brief hallway, very dimly lit, uh, that smells like it hasn't been occupied in years. Like someone may have come down here once, not been able to do anything down here, and then not paid it any second mind because there doesn't appear to be anything of interest as you guys are roaming down this deserted corridor. Uh, it takes a turn, and Nasuna leads you through a door on the left hand side uh, into uh, what almost looks like an auditorium or small theater. Uh, Again, it's kind of very dimly lit, kind of like the lighting in a movie theater when the movie is playing. So, small indicator lights uh, along uh, walkways. Probably about 50 seats, so it's not too large. At the center, what looks to be some sort of inactive holo display. Masuna
What is
says,
this?
the first time someone came down here, they got something to play, but we couldn't understand what it was saying, and the imagery made no sense to any of us.
Bianca just kind of nods to pluck hair and to kind of just say, "See what you can make of it."
Fakir says, well, I'm no engineer, Captain, so I hope it works when I tell it to turn on. Make this difficulty 1.
Klingon engineering. If it doesn't work, kick it again.
Hit it with a hammer.
No hammers or batleths needed. She made the difficulty and generated a momentum. So the holo player comes to life, uh, and you see a pattern of stars that looks unfamiliar at first. But give me a reason con roll with your astronavigation focus. Difficulty
Yeah.
2.
I'm gonna take a momentum. Okay then. I can't hear you.
Oh, you get it back.
Okay.
The star patterns you recognize after a moment as being from the Carina Nebula
You're
approximately
breaking up.
100,000 years ago. What do you say?
I think you're breaking up.
Oh, no, I was tearing the wrapper off my Gatorade bottle. Bad habit.
Oh. Okay.
Um, you recognize the stars as where they would have been 100,000 years ago. This is definitely the Carina Nebula sector. It zooms in on one area of space in particular near a G-class star. And around the G-class star, you can see a very thin ring. At a great distance from the star, you would say probably about 1 astronomical unit, or about 150 million kilometers, just in radius. So, end to end, double that, 300 million kilometers across from one end to the other.
As an astrophysicist, like, does that? What is that to Bianca?
That is Earth's orbit. around the sun.
Wait,
Imagine,
let me clarify. This entire
no.
structure is as big as the orbit
yes,
of.
as big as Earth's orbit around the sun.
No,
Okay,
no.
cool.
What are we looking at? Not
You're,
what's
you're
an
looking at a
astronaut
holographic representation of that at the moment,
of what?
of that ring.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that part.
Gotcha. Uh, as you watch, as you watch, the ring starts to rotate, picking up speed, um, and
R-
continues to pick up speed well beyond what
Like rolling or
rotating.
like a penny on a desk spinning.
Um, I guess rolling would be the best term, but
I think he means spinning
spinning like a
like a
top.
top. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Like a frisbee.
right, like the outer edge of a frisbee.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more.
Um, starts spinning until you can't make out any details on it. It's the details were hard to make out as it in the first place, but even faster than should be physically possible. And as you watch, the G-class star in the center of the ring collapses, and some sort of portal opens in its place. A portal possibly 100,000 kilometers across.
Like a Iconian gateway?
Like not unlike an Iconian gateway, only one that is 4 times the size of Earth. A
Yeah,
portal the size of Jupiter's Great Red Spot.
like a giant stargate.
Like a tear in subspace.
Through the aperture, or well, you watch as a fleet of ships, more massive, more numerous than anything that any of you have seen, starts to navigate its way through this gigantic portal, and you can see something on the other side. It is possibly another place, possibly another time, although by this point it would have been easy for these ships to get to another place or another time. Uh, let me have you and Shiana do an insight science roll.
Okay.
Is Plakir gonna make one too?
Yes. And Bianca, if you want to take a momentum for this one.
Okay. What am I rolling?
You're rolling insight science.
Oh, okay. Um,
Astronavigation focus.
cool. Not that it helped. My science is 1.
Okay. I'm going to bank the complication as threat. And there's something off about the stars that you're seeing through that aperture. And at first, you're not quite sure why or how it's off. Maybe it's a function of the aperture itself. And Plakir says, That's another universe.
Like parallel universe?
No, parallel universe has a common timeline. That's a non-parallel universe. That's maybe, I don't know. Look at, you see those stars through the aperture? Those look. I wish I had a scan, but the only time that stars that massive ever formed was just a few hundred million years after the Big Bang in our universe.
Hmm.
No, they didn't just go to a parallel universe. They went to one. It could be anywhere in the multiverse. The
Okay, the dumb
last.
security officer is raising her hand because she's confused.
Okay.
So the star map that we're seeing is from 100,000 years ago.
Yes.
How is it that this structure was built 100,000 years ago when everything that we've seen so far has led us to suppose that the structure came from 2,000 years in the future and somehow landed 100,000 years ago?
Unless the ships came back 100,000 years and then built the structure.
So
I think we should take this data back to
Sorry,
Dauntless for analysis.
my
No, wait.
internet cut out. What did I miss?
Only the big reveal. How big? I'm teasing. Let me recap. So
Another universe. I got that part.
yeah, and that is kind of where we are at the moment. Uh, but not like a parallel universe, not a universe with a shared timeline, but something completely separate. Possibly a much younger universe. Uh, possibly a cosmos on the far side of the multiverse. Like whatever
They
Starfleet
bubble
was,
hopped.
kind of, yeah. Whatever Starfleet was trying to get away from, they wanted to make sure no one could follow them. Um, but it also doesn't
oh,
seem
that makes so much
interested.
sense.
But the playback continues, and you see a star about the size of Earth, glowing white hot, flying toward the center of this aperture, almost as if someone flung it after them. As it approaches, the ring breaks apart. The energy released triggers an explosion that would resemble any supernova or even hypernova event. The hollow recording seems to pan back, uh, and seems to track, like the hollow recording picks up a fragment here, a fragment there, fleeing from the center at a significant portion of the speed of light. All happening before the white dwarf could travel through the aperture in pursuit of those ships. Hi, Garrus.
Yeah, let's get this data back to
Oh, baby. It's
Dauntless
all
for
right, honey.
analysis.
Sorry.
So, does the
And
white dwarf make it through?
No. The white dwarf continued through the explosion on its own trajectory.
Oh, that's not good. Where did that end up?
Probably where we now.
Well, maybe, maybe
A
not.
white
It
dwarf
depends
with a
on
ring of
whether or not.
debris surrounding it? It's a distinct possibility.
Oh, good lord. Oh, god.
So, Starfleet, 2,000 years in the future, hopped back so far in time that they had the time to build this mechanism, this huge ring, so that they could hop to another universe where to escape this threat.
And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.